One show managed to turn millions of fans into online bullies, destroy careers, and force Amazon to issue desperate public warnings. Cast members are receiving death threats, controversial ads are sparking nationwide outrage, and the drama behind the cameras is messier than anything happening on screen. This is how the summer I turned pretty went from a sweet beach romance to the most toxic fandom disaster of 2025. Before we dive into this absolute mess, smash that subscribe button, because apparently I need to remind you that free content requires free clicks. Don't be like Jeremiah and disappoint everyone. 3 years ago, the summer I turned pretty seemed harmless enough. A cute love triangle between Belly and two brothers, Conrad and Jeremiah, set against dreamy beach house summers. Fans picked their teams, made their TikToks, and everything felt like innocent fun. But somewhere along the way, this wholesome romance turned into a battlefield that would make Game of Thrones fans look civilized. The show follows Belly as she navigates her feelings between Conrad, the brooding older brother who's been her longtime crush, and Jeremiah, the golden retriever energy younger brother who's madly in love with her. What started as a simple question of who will she choose has evolved into something far more sinister. We're talking about a fandom so toxic that Amazon Prime Video had to step in multiple times with public warnings threatening to ban users for harassment and hate speech. The timeline is absolutely chaotic. Belly bounces between both brothers like a ping-pong ball, creating drama that spans multiple seasons and a 4-year time jump. But here's where it gets interesting. The real drama isn't happening on screen anymore. It's happening in the comment sections, on social media, and in the very real lives of the actors who are just trying to do their jobs. Season 3 dropped in July 2025, and with it came a level of fan toxicity that nobody saw coming. Amazon had to issue not one, but multiple public statements begging fans to act normal online. Let that sink in for a moment. A major streaming platform had to publicly plead with viewers to behave like decent human beings. That's not normal. That's not okay. And it's definitely not the kind of publicity any show wants. The controversy reached its peak when reports surfaced that cast members were receiving death threats. Yes, you heard that right. People are threatening to kill real human beings over fictional romantic relationships. Gavin Casalegno, who plays Jeremiah, has been particularly targeted, with fans sending him messages that are so disturbing, he's had to limit his social media presence entirely. But the toxicity goes beyond just angry fan comments. The hatred for Jeremiah's character has reached meme levels that are both hilarious and deeply concerning. TikTok is flooded with videos dragging everything about him. His facial expressions, his dialogue delivery, even the way he eats cake in one particularly infamous scene. The poor guy's become the internet's punching bag, with compilations of his worst moments racking up millions of views. Delta Airlines even got in on the joke, posting that they'd give Conrad first-class seating, while Jeremiah gets stuck in the bathroom. When major corporations are publicly roasting your character, you know the hate has reached unprecedented levels. The memes are undeniably funny, but they've created a culture where bullying feels justified because it's wrapped in humor. Here's where things get really messy. In July 2025, just as Season 3 premiered, Gavin found himself in hot water over a Dunkin' Donuts commercial that went viral for all the wrong reasons. In the ad, he's lounging by a pool, claiming to be the king of summer and attributing his golden tan to his genetics. Sounds innocent enough, right? Wrong. The commercial dropped just days after Sydney Sweeney's controversial American Eagle campaign, which used the tagline, "Sydney Sweeney has great genes," a play on words about both her denim and her genetics. When Gavin's ad hit the airwaves with similar genetics-focused messaging, people immediately connected the dots and accused both campaigns of promoting Eurocentric beauty standards. The backlash was swift and brutal. Social media erupted with accusations that Gavin was promoting white supremacist ideologies, even though he claimed he had no idea about the controversy since he was traveling in Thailand and Indonesia with his wife at the time. The timing couldn't have been worse, and what should have been a simple drink commercial turned into a nationwide conversation about race, privilege, and beauty standards. But wait, it gets worse. This wasn't Gavin's first rodeo with controversy. Back in 2023, eagle-eyed fans discovered that he had liked several problematic posts on social media, including anti-vaccination and anti-feminist content. One particular tweet read, "When you find out she is unvaxxed, not a feminist, loves the Lord, and aspires to be a wife, mother, and a homemaker," accompanied by an enthusiastic reaction image. If you thought that was bad, there's more. Gavin allegedly liked content from Jordan Peterson, who has made numerous transphobic statements, and fans discovered that some of his family members follow far-right political figures on social media. While Gavin hasn't directly addressed most of these controversies, the evidence has created a perfect storm of negative publicity that follows him everywhere. The political divide has apparently created tension within the cast itself. Fans have speculated that Lola Tung and Christopher Briney, who play Belly and Conrad respectively, have distanced themselves from Gavin due to their differing political views. The evidence? They weren't at his wedding, and recent interviews show an undeniable awkwardness between the trio that goes beyond typical co-worker dynamics. Hit that subscribe button if you're as mesmerized by this train wreck as I am. Misery loves company, and apparently so do YouTube algorithms. During press interviews for Season 3, the main cast members seem uncomfortable and distant from each other in a way that's painful to watch. Body language experts would have a field day analyzing their interactions. Lola and Christopher appear to lean away from Gavin. Their smiles don't reach their eyes, and the natural chemistry they once displayed in earlier promotional materials has completely vanished. This tension allegedly stems from more than just political differences. There are rumors that Lola and Christopher, who both lean liberal, became uncomfortable with Gavin's social media activity and the controversies surrounding him. While none of them have publicly addressed the situation, the elephant in the room is visible to anyone watching their interactions. The wedding situation particularly raised eyebrows. When Gavin married his longtime girlfriend in a beautiful ceremony, his two main co-stars were notably absent. For actors who spent years promoting themselves as a close-knit family, this absence spoke volumes. Industry insiders suggest that the political differences became too significant to ignore, especially given the show's predominantly young, progressive fan base. What makes this situation even more complex is that these are young actors who essentially grew up together on set. Lola Tung was just 18 when she landed the role of Belly, and the three leads have spent their early 20s navigating fame together. To see that bond potentially fractured over political differences is genuinely heartbreaking, regardless of where you stand on the issues. The cast drama extends beyond just the main trio. Several supporting cast members have also faced harassment, with some experiencing racist attacks and others being targeted for their characters' actions on the show. The line between fiction and reality has become so blurred that fans are treating actors like they personally made the decisions their characters make. Amazon's response to this chaos has been unprecedented in the streaming world. The company issued multiple public statements throughout 2025, essentially begging fans to behave responsibly. Their posts included explicit warnings about banning users for hate speech, bullying, harassment, and doxing. The fact that a major corporation had to remind people that actors are human beings worthy of basic respect shows how far things have spiraled. Jenny Han, the author of the original book trilogy and showrunner, has expressed genuine concern about fan behavior. She's gone on record saying that while she's grateful people care about the characters, the death threats and harassment cross every line imaginable. Her plea for fans to remember that it's not that serious fell on deaf ears, as the toxicity only seemed to increase with each episode release. The psychology behind this extreme fan behavior is fascinating and disturbing. The Summer I Turned Pretty tapped into something primal about first love, nostalgia, and the fantasy of the perfect summer romance.
For many viewers, especially young women, these characters represent idealized versions of their own romantic experiences or dreams. When those fantasies are threatened by plot developments they don't like, the emotional response becomes disproportionately intense. Social media algorithms have amplified this toxicity by rewarding the most dramatic and controversial content. A measured discussion about character development gets a few hundred likes, but a video brutally roasting Jeremiah gets millions of views. The platforms literally profit from the chaos, creating financial incentives for creators to pile onto the hate train.
The Jeremiah hatred has become so extreme that it's transcended normal fandom discourse. Compilation videos of his worst moments trend regularly on TikTok, with creators finding increasingly creative ways to mock his facial expressions, dialogue delivery, and character choices. The famous cake scene, where Jeremiah insists that the wedding cake is his one thing, has been memed to death, with people claiming he has more chemistry with dessert than with his supposed soulmate. But here's what's genuinely concerning. The hatred has become so normalized that people don't realize they've crossed into genuine bullying territory. Commenting, "Jeremiah should die," might feel like harmless character criticism, but when you multiply that by hundreds of thousands of similar messages directed at the real person playing the role, it becomes a coordinated harassment campaign.
Gavin has handled the situation with remarkable grace considering the circumstances. In interviews, he acknowledges that people dislike his character, while emphasizing that he's not actually Jeremiah. He's also mentioned that he doesn't check Instagram anymore, relying on his sister to send him the funnier memes instead of seeing the genuine hate. This coping mechanism is both smart and heartbreaking. Imagine being so harassed that you can't safely engage with your own social media presence. The impact on his mental health is undeniable, even if he tries to downplay it publicly. Multiple sources have reported that he's become more reclusive, turning down certain promotional opportunities and limiting his public appearances. For a young actor at the height of his career, this level of harassment is potentially devastating to both his personal well-being and professional trajectory.
Meanwhile, Christopher Briney, who plays Conrad, has become the internet's golden boy purely by comparison. Team Conrad fans have embraced him as the perfect boyfriend, creating an unrealistic pedestal that's probably just as uncomfortable as Gavin's villainization. The extreme polarization leaves no room for nuance or appreciation of both performances. The show's final season has been designed to address some of these issues, with Conrad experiencing genuine heartbreak and character growth that showcases Christopher's acting range. Every episode seems calculated to make Team Conrad fans fall deeper in love while giving Jeremiah slightly more sympathetic storylines. Whether this will calm the toxicity or fuel it further remains to be seen. Industry experts are watching this situation closely because it represents a new level of fan entitlement and harassment in the streaming era. Unlike traditional television, where episodes aired weekly and gave fans time to process, binge-watching culture creates intensity that boils over into real-world consequences. The Summer I Turned Pretty has become a cautionary tale about what happens when parasocial relationships spiral completely out of control. The economic impact is also significant. While controversy can drive viewership, the harassment campaigns risk damaging the show's brand long-term. Advertisers are increasingly cautious about associating with content that generates toxic fan behavior, and streaming platforms are having to dedicate resources to content moderation that should be unnecessary. Other shows are taking notes, implementing stronger social media guidelines for cast members, and preparing crisis management strategies for when fandoms turn dark. The Summer I Turned Pretty has essentially become a case study in what not to do when managing online communities around romantic content. As we approach the final episodes of the series, The tension is reaching a breaking point. Fans are demanding resolution not just for the love triangle, but for the real-world drama that has overshadowed the actual show. Will Belly choose Conrad or Jeremiah? Will the cast members reconcile their differences? Will the toxicity finally calm down, or will it follow these actors for years to come? The irony is that a show about the magic of summer love has become a winter of discontent for everyone involved. The very elements that made it appealing, the nostalgia, the romantic fantasy, the idealized relationships, have become weapons in a war that nobody asked for, and everybody's tired of fighting. What's most tragic is that underneath all the chaos, there's actually a good show worth watching. The performances are solid, the cinematography is beautiful, and the emotional moments genuinely resonate when you can get past the noise. But the toxic fandom has made it nearly impossible to engage with the content on its own merits. The Summer I Turned Pretty will end, but its impact on fandom culture will likely persist for years. It's shown us the dark side of passionate fan engagement and the real consequences of online harassment. It's demonstrated that actors, especially young ones, are more vulnerable than ever to coordinated attacks from people who can't separate fiction from reality. As the final episodes approach, let's hope that cooler heads prevail and that people remember these are real human beings trying to tell a story. The characters will get their happy endings eventually, but the actors involved will carry the scars of this experience long after the cameras stop rolling.
The lesson here isn't that passionate fandoms are inherently bad. They're not. The lesson is that we need better boundaries, more empathy, and a collective understanding that entertainment should enhance our lives, not destroy others. Whether we learn that lesson remains to be seen, but The Summer I Turned Pretty has certainly given us plenty of material to work with. So there you have it, the complete breakdown of how a sweet summer romance became a cautionary tale about the dangers of toxic fandom. Don't forget to subscribe, because apparently someone needs to keep documenting these train wrecks, and the algorithm has chosen me as tribute. Let me know in the comments what you think about this whole situation, but please, for the love of all that's holy, keep it civil. We've had enough chaos for one show. What team are you on? And more importantly, do you think the real-world drama has gone too far? Drop your thoughts below. And remember, these are real people with real feelings, not just characters to be battled over online. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go watch something less controversial, like reality TV about people fighting over roses. At least that drama is supposed to be manufactured.